Hey everybody, Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. So we are now about 12 days in since we've gotten the pigs, and I need to get these guys moved. I try to move them around 10 days, but with the way our schedules worked out and then a little bit of weather we got, I'm running just a little bit behind. So if you've already seen the past video I just got done doing a couple weeks ago when I brought these guys home, you already saw how I originally set up this training pen. I got the hog panels on all four corners, and then I set up my hot wire here on 2 of the 4 sides. As you can see here, these guys get it right up to the wire, but they know that wire is going to zap them. So they've gotten pretty good at respecting that wire. And since I'm running a couple days behind, normally I would set up another training pen. I was planning on doing one right here for the next week and a half or so. I think I'm going to go ahead and forego that and just go straight to hot wire now. Now that could spell out kind of disastrous for me, or I could get lucky. I think I'm gonna be okay though. I've done this a couple times in the past. I kind of have a good idea as to how these guys are gonna do. After observing these guys in the pen, I haven't really seen anybody run forward when they hit that wire. They typically, the instinct is to run backwards away from it. We'll go ahead and open them up to a 32 by 64 pin roughly this time around. That'll give them a lot bigger space to deal with. So they'll be right here on the side instead of behind like I originally planned. Now the plan is when I do this, I'll usually run 4 T-posts on every corner. And then I've got these Obrien yellow tread-in posts that I run everywhere else around the pen. I've also got another trick I'm gonna try this year. I think it's gonna work out pretty good. I've got these little things called Lockjawz, which I'll show you here in just a minute. Because it's got a notch on it, I think I can run that on my hot wire and basically loop that wire back around itself on the actual high tensile fence that I've got here. And then I'll just run 2 T-posts down at the far end. Now, if you follow some of the other channels like Heifer USA, they've got some really good setups and really good information. And I follow them just as much as anybody. Some of the equipment they have, I don't currently have. Their tread-in posts are set up to where they can use them as corners. Mine don't do a great job. In fact, if you see right here in the corner where I'm running one right now, they tend to fall over time. They don't have enough strength in my opinion. So while they work great as inline posts, I don't really like them as corners. So with that being said, I'll run through real quick what I'm planning on doing here. Then I'm gonna set you guys up on a time lapse and show you kind of how I do this. I'm by myself today, so I should have this done within the next 30 minutes. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this hot wire down. I'm gonna set it up on 2 different walls, and then my high tensile fence will act as a 3rd wall. I'll open up this section here, let them kind of come over, then I'll finish up my fence all the way around and we should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and run 2 strands to be safe. Technically, I should be fine with just 1 wire, but I like to be a little bit on the overkill side. And then once I've got them moved over here, I'll get their water tank cleaned out here. I'll get that all hooked up on this side, run the shelter over, get the feed pans. It goes pretty quick. Hopefully I can get a good enough angle where you guys can kind of see all this on a time lapse, and then when I get done I'll run through it again, and then hopefully that'll make a little bit more sense. As always, if you guys have comments, suggestions, things you do differently, I'm open in all ears. I love to hear the different ways, maybe things I haven't thought of along the way. In the end, this is all about showing you guys things I've learned along the way, but I'm also trying to get more efficient, and then as I learn those new things I can bring in the video and hopefully help everybody else out as well. So that's enough yabbering. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up on time lapse. We'll get this thing rolling and get these pigs moving. Got my 2 wires ran, pigs are all in. I do not have the wire hot yet. That's the next thing I gotta do. So let's go ahead and do that together real quick. If you've never used one of these little temporary fences before, pick you up a couple of these little clips like this, these alligator clips. And all you do, or what I do anyway, I clip that to my wire and then bring that, ooh, can't see the sun, bring that down here. You can hear it snapping already. I'm not even on the wire yet. So that's a good way of knowing that it's hot. Now there's several different ways you could do this. Now I've got a fancy Gallagher fault finder that I picked up, and that's what I've been using. That's this dude right here. I'll leave a link in the description for the parts that I could find online for you guys. The Gallagher fence finder by far is my favorite. It's not only going to tell you how hot your fence is, it's also got the ability to show you how much amperage loss you've got on this. It also has an arrow so you can track down if you've got like a tree limb on a line. Everything in my field, I don't have any trees where it can fall on it, but if you guys have this and you run it through the woods, this is absolutely going to be a lifesaver to you. If you can't see your whole entire fence, you can track down based on the arrow which way you need to go. So let me turn my camera around. So as you can see here, I'm gonna go ahead and stick my thumb on this little lug right here, put that right up to my fence, and you can see I've got 7,300 volts on my fence, 3.8 amps. Now the 3.8 amps, I'm not a big fan of. Guarantee that has everything to do with the grass. So I'll come through here with the weed eater and then I'll do an update on this at the end to show you what I can get that down to. But this is still every bit hot enough to be able to shock the pigs and keep them inside this fence. But I don't want to have any questions, so I will go ahead and trim this down. Now you can see, if I go over here to my wire on my fence, 7,400 volts, 0.2 amps. That's what I'm looking for right there. Now there are spots on my fence that are 9,800 volts. That's closer to the fence charger itself. Pretty much every single wire on my fence is ran off of my bottom wire, with the exception of my front row. It's all dedicated lines. Because I go underneath gates and my drinking post and things of that nature, when I bring the wire back up to connect to the fence, everything's connected to the bottom from there. That's letting you know you got a good strong wire, good strong fence. And like I said, I'll get this fixed here in just a second. Earlier in the video, I was also talking to you guys about those Lockjawz. I wanted to show you those real quick too, and I'll leave a link to those in the description. I discovered these last year. I had an advertisement pop up on my Facebook, and I thought they were the coolest thing. So right here is what they call a lockjaw. These things could go on this T-post 360 degrees around. You see it runs right through the groove. It's got this little spot right here where you can feed your wire in and back out. And I run these right here. And the nice thing about these, it's a nice smooth transition around your T-post. I use them down there on the other corner as well. Down here on this end, I tried something different. I've never done this before. I wanted to see if it would work. While it does work, it is a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue using this route. I may end up going back to a T-post. We're gonna try to see if I can come up with something else. But you can see what I did right here. These little things have a groove right here where your T-post is designed to sit. And I just got them looped around the fence. That way I can come up over my wire and back through. And that was the idea, is be able to run through there, have a nice curved transition instead of it just taking a hard bend on the wire. A chance of cutting into that in a weird way. Probably not the best thing in the world, but that's what I said. I'm always trying something different, trying something new, see how it works for me, and kind of go from there. There's all 15 piggies. Happy as could be, exploring the new area. Pretty trouble-free. No frustrations this time around. It's always nice when things go as planned, guys. That's all I've got for you today on this video. As always, leave your comments in the description. Let me know what you think. Give me some suggestions. Always try to make things better. You guys have a great week. We'll catch you guys on the next video.